And well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the West Grey Special Council meeting for June 22nd, 2021. On item number 1, we have our full complement of members of council as Councillor Hergert has returned from her leave of absence. Welcome back, Councillor Hergert. All members of council are present and we have a quorum. Supervisor Hewlett, at this point, could you please explain the electronic features for today's meeting?
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor Robertson. Supervisor Hewlett is not attending the meeting today, so I will be doing it in his stead. Before I begin, if you do get disconnected at any time, you can dial 1-647-558-0588 and enter meeting ID 873-3754-9018. Both members of council and staff have been briefed on the various features of the Zoom meeting software and will be raising their hands on video to speak. For members of the public, if you require technical assistance, you can send a chat message to myself, Carrie Mighton, and I will attempt to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Mighton, for stepping in and providing that information. Very much appreciated. So on item number 2, members of council and those listening in, a moment of reflection. So if you would be so kind to take a pause. Thank you. On item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Members of council, is there anything to declare? Please just bear with me. I need to, at this point, just scroll through the images on a number of screens. Thank you. I don't see anything at this time. We're now moving on to item number 4, which is the closed session. Clerk Sharbeck, to the recommendation, please.
Thank you. Through you, Your Worship, the recommendation is that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of West Grey does now go into a closed session at 1:04 p.m. with the CAO, Director of Administration Clerk, Director of Finance Treasurer, Director of Infrastructure and Public Works, Manager of Planning and Development, and the Legislative Coordinator for the purpose of to address matters pertaining to a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, and also for educating or training members.
Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Hergert, are you moving the motion?
Yes, I move the motion, Councillor Hergert.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, I saw your hand. Are you seconding this motion?
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, I will second the motion.
Are there questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate with a raised hand. 6. Thank you. 7 members of council have voted in favor of this motion. This motion has carried. We are now moving into a in-camera session. Thank you. We're just waiting for all members of council and staff to arrive back. One moment, and then I will deal with item 5. Just waiting on Councillor Hutchinson for all members of council. Madam CIO, do you have all your staff that you require?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Director Mighton, I'm wondering, do you see Councillor Hutchinson? Thank you. All right. Just let me double check. All right, we have all members of council and staff we require. We are on item number 5, which is matters arising from the closed session. So I do need to report, I'd like to report that in closed session, council addressed matters pertaining to a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, and for educating or training members. I also want to say that direction was provided to staff. Thank you. Is there anything further, members of council, at this time before we move on to the next item? Are there any motions? Councillor Hamilton, I see your hand, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson.
Yes.
Please help me with the wording, but I do have a motion, if I may.
Sure.
That staff provide a report at the August 3rd council meeting for the hiring of a planning consultant in regards to West Grey growth management and boundaries.
Thank you. Clerk Scharbeck, with your wordsmithing skills, would you please take the time and read that back out? And then at that time, I would be looking for a seconder. Thank you.
Thank you, through your worship and Councillor Hamilton. The council directs staff to bring a report to the August 3rd regular council meeting regarding hiring a planning consultant to investigate West Grey growth management, including boundary development and growth matters. Is that appropriate?
Councillor Hamilton?
Thank you, Clerk. You're definitely in the ballpark if if our CAO or has any other word finessing, but you're on track. Thank you.
Madam CAO, you've been invited. Is there any further language, as Clerk Scharbeck is still wordsmithing? Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. I think that reads well.
Okay.
Thank you. So with that, we'll just ensure that it's written, and the clerk will read it again, and I will look for a seconder. Thank you.
So through your worship, moved by Councillor Hamilton, that council hereby directs staff to bring a report to the August 3rd regular council meeting regarding hiring a planning consultant to investigate West Grey growth management, including boundary, growth, and development matters.
Councillor Hamilton to the language.
Thank you. It's perfect.
Thank you. Councillor Hutchinson, I see your hand up. Would that indicate that you're going to second?
I will second that, but I have a question too, if I may.
Okay, that would be the right time now.
I'm just curious, is there any way possible that this could come back to our July meeting rather than waiting till August? That's 2 weeks.
Okay, so with that, Clerk Scharbeck or Madam CAO to Councillor Hutchinson's inquiry about a different date in the motion for inquiry purposes.
If I may, Madam Mayor, our agenda cycle is today would have been the due date for reports for the July meeting, because we like to have the agendas out a week ahead of the meeting. So agendas would be out on the 29th. So I don't think that we could meet that timeline for this time. I'm quite comfortable with reporting back in August as well, if that's what council so chooses.
Yeah.
Thank you for the response, Councillor Hutchinson.
I was just a little concerned if, you know, if we're looking at July, then if we're going to do a hire a consultant, would be an RFP would put us into, or we're to August and we're into the fall before we even hire someone, right? It just pushed it off a bit. So that was all my concern is timeline.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions of clarity on the motion at hand? I just want to double check, Councillor Hutchinson, you completed your inquiry? Okay, thank you. Councillor Townsend then.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was going to ask whether or not we could do a meeting on the 20th, which would allow us to do it and do it on a limited agenda rather than opening it up to a full session. And I don't know what staff's availability is or the potential of doing it by then, but that would be 2 weeks. Like it would mean we would still have a second meeting in July. I'm just afraid the same thing that Councillor Hutchinson had in continuing to push things out.
Madam CAO, would you be able to respond in terms of the procedure that you would require for and the research that you need for the report, or any considerations on this? At this point, it's for the meeting in August, but to respond now to Councillor Townsend's inquiry.
If I may, Madam Mayor, I'm not sure if I can commit to the July meeting without knowing staff's availability, as you pointed out, Councillor Townsend. And perhaps, you know, if there's an opportunity for us to get it to you sooner, then we do have a process for calling a special council meeting, and that might be an option that we could look at. You know, if we beat the deadline of August 3rd, well, good for us. But I think, you know, that's realistic at this point, and just being mindful of workload, quite honestly.
Thank you. And that option does exist for calling a meeting. Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Townsend?
No, thank you very much.
Well, thank you as well. I'm not seeing any other questions. Clerk Sharbuck, to the motion, and then if you could please read it again, and then, because there's been some discussion, and then I'll call the vote. Thank you.
Through you, Mayor Robinson. Moved by Councillor Hamilton and seconded by Councillor Hutchinson, the council hereby directs staff to bring a report to the August 3rd regular council meeting regarding hiring a planning consultant to investigate West Grey growth management, including boundary, growth, and development matters.
All those in favor indicate with a raised hand. 7 members of council have voted in favor of this motion. This motion has carried. Thank you. We are now moving on to item number 6, adjournment. Clerk Sharbuck, to the recommendation, please.
Your worship, the recommendation is that council does now adjourn at 3:25 p.m.
Is there a mover? Okay, and then is there anything further you wish to say on that motion? Or there's further language in this motion, but do you want to stop it just at the 3:25 p.m.?
To reconvene on July 6th at 9 a.m.
Thank you, or the call of the chair. Thank you. I just wanted the complete motion. So is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Hergert, are you moving this motion?
Councillor Hergert, yes.
Is there a seconder for this motion? Councillor Hutchinson, are you seconding this motion?
Yes, Councillor Hutchinson seconds the motion.
All those in favor indicate with a raised hand. 7 members of council have voted in favor of this motion. This motion is carried. Thank you very much, one and all.